Obamacare! Repeal Obamacare!
Emotions running high in North County. Hear from both sides of the rally and the congressman at the center of it all.
I finally had something to love instead of something to hate.
The network of support teaching people how to leave behind hate.
Refugee comes to America or come to a place not because they want to take over it, but because they just want freedom. They just want a place to stay.
And a new production explores the experiences of displaced people through poetry, music, physics, and contemporary circus. KPBS Evening Edition starts right now. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ebony Monet. Dueling rallies were held today outside Congressman Darrell Issa's Vista office. KPBS reporter Susan Murphy says emotions were high and chanting was loud until the Republican representative came outside for an impromptu question and answer session.
On one side of the street, dozens of Congressman Darrell Issa's most dedicated supporters. Dressed in red, white, and blue, they waved American flags, held Trump banners, and urged the repeal of Obamacare.
We're sick of Obamacare. It's not working, it's broken, it's expensive, and our premiums are going up like crazy.
On the other side of the street, Issa and Trump critics.
Down Trump! Down Trump!
It's the same group that has protested in front of the congressman's office every Tuesday for the past month. They were calling on Issa to preserve the Affordable Care Act.
And I fear that we're going to go back to the time where the average person who has an average income of, say, $25,000 or $30,000 a year will only get their health care in the emergency department.
And demanding that he meet with them. The group even crowdsourced money to pay for a full-page advertisement in the Union Tribune, asking Issa to attend a Tuesday night town hall meeting. As the two groups were shouting at each other, Issa emerged from his office and greeted the crowd.
My hope is this morning we'll find a way to bridge these two groups.
He spent an hour answering questions.
When are you going to investigate Trump and Russia and Trump's taxes?
It is very clear that I am a staunch anti-Russian. Is there another question?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
When will you be defunding Planned Parenthood?
I suspect that as long as we do not directly fund abortions, Planned Parenthood will continue to receive the money, substantial money. I'm not going to speak for more or less, but it's going to receive similar money for outreach to help women understand how to, in fact, control their bodies.
He spent much of the time talking about health care and immigration. He ended the meeting by calling on the two sides to work together.
As you all have been very civil, very, very civil, with a little pushing, but very civil, we go a little bit in the right direction toward having the civil discourse that's going to allow us to really, really get some solutions on immigration, on health care.
Susan Murphy, KPBS News.
Today, Issa also released a draft of his proposal to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act. The bill aims to give Americans access to the health benefit plan used by federal employees. KPBS reporter Jean Guerrero has the story.
Issa says his plan would drive down prices on individual insurance plans by letting Americans join a risk pool that already includes 9 million federal employees and their families, as well as retirees.
The Affordable Care Act
Don't put it in my face.
has a problem, and the problem is that only sick people are signing up for the exchanges. That's why the rates are going up so high. I'm offering a piece of legislation to try to bring more healthy people into the exchanges.
Opponents at Health Access California say Issa's bill could cause millions of Californians to lose health coverage because California would lose about $23 billion it gets from the Affordable Care Act. I spoke with Anthony Wright, Executive Director of Health Access California.
If you're low or moderate income, especially in a high cost of living state like California, you need the tax credits and or affordability assistance that the ACA provides. Being able to have access to the federal health benefits plan is nice, but it's like saying that you have access to a Mercedes. It doesn't matter if you don't have the money.
He says it's unclear where Issa would get the money to actually lower costs for most residents. He also says about 65,000 people in Issa's district would stand to lose financial help for coverage. Jean Guerrero, KPBS News.
The Trump administration is expanding the number of people who are considered priorities for deportation. Documents from Homeland Security released today show anyone in the country illegally who has been charged, convicted, or suspected of a crime will now be an enforcement priority. That could include people who are arrested for minor offenses or simply having crossed the border illegally. The department memo eliminates guidelines under the Obama administration that focused on people convicted of serious crimes or were a threat to national security. Democratic lawmakers at the state capitol are firing back at the president's immigration directives. Many sanctuary cities in the Golden State say they will resist cooperation. Some lawmakers are introducing legislation to make that a statewide effort.
If Trump expects to commandeer our local police departments and use our local tax dollars, use our state tax dollars to enforce immigration law, he can count us out. We're not going to spend a single dollar, nor are we going to lift a single finger to help Trump and his deportation machine.
Immigrants have been rushing to become U.S. citizens since the president's travel ban. From L.A. to New York, advocates who work with immigrant communities say they're fielding more questions about how to become a citizen. They also point out a surge of naturalization applicants last year in the middle of Trump's anti-immigrant campaign rhetoric. A shooting death at the U.S.-Mexico border has sparked a debate over the rights of foreigners. Supreme Court justices are examining the case of a 15-year-old Mexican teen who was shot and killed by a U.S. Border Patrol agent in El Paso, Texas. The agent was on the U.S. side of the border when he fired his gun in 2010. The bullet hit the teen on the Mexican side. U.S. officials chose not to prosecute the agent. His parents tried suing. The lower courts dismissed that lawsuit. The Supreme Court is considering whether a non-citizen can have their day in American courts. Tonight, people are shaken after a threat against the Lawrence Family Jewish Community Center in La Jolla this morning, which turned out to be unfounded. Center officials say center staff evacuated the building this morning after receiving a threatening email. The center was then checked and cleared by San Diego police. Several Jewish communities across the country were the targets of bomb threats Monday. Those were reportedly all hoaxes. President Trump denounced the threats today after touring the newly opened National Museum of African American History and Culture in D.C.
The anti-Semitic threats targeting our Jewish community and community centers are horrible and are painful and a very sad reminder of the work that still must be done to root out hate and prejudice and evil.
In addition to the threats against Jewish centers, as many as 200 headstones were damaged or tipped over at a Jewish cemetery in suburban St. Louis over the weekend. The FBI says it's joining with the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division to investigate possible civil rights violations in connections with the threats. Activists are combating what many see as a surge in white nationalism across the U.S. AP reporter Noreen Nasser says they're doing it by supporting members as they leave the Ku Klux Klan and skinhead organizations.
Oh my God, I love Skittles.
Shannon Martinez homeschools her children. The 42-year-old mother embraces her domestic life in suburban Georgia. But the tattoo on her right leg reveals a troubled past.
I was a white power skinhead.
Martinez says she was a victim of sexual assault when she was 14. By 16, she was spouting white supremacist rhetoric, giving Nazi salutes and tagging public property with swastikas.
I was filled with rage and anger, and the skinheads were the angriest people that I knew.
But after she was taken in by her then-boyfriend's family, Martinez decided to leave the skinheads. Now she's helping others do the same as part of an emerging movement that helps people quit hate groups.
So you could tell we're dressed like terrorists because we were terrorists.
Christian Picciolini is also a former skinhead who founded the Chicago chapter of Life After Hate. The organization uses counseling and education to help white extremists make the transition.
It was so difficult to leave that movement, even though I'd abandoned the ideology. I wasn't ready to give up my community and my power and my identity.
But his insider perspective is what's helping others quit.
It's built around the idea that the people who can really bring others out of this movement are only those people who have experienced it themselves.
While there are no exact numbers, the Southern Poverty Law Center, which tracks extremist groups, estimates around 100,000 people might be members of hate groups, and several 100,000 could be linked informally. Life After Hate is trying to bring those numbers down, but its funding could be endangered if the Trump administration decides to shift grant money from combating violent extremism to only Islamic extremism, as is being considered. Darrell Jenkins believes the election of Donald Trump helped embolden white supremacists. His group, One People's Project, monitors racist groups and confronts white nationalists in public, trying to speak with them one-on-one.
We did regress a little bit. We did regress, but not so far that we can't come back. It's just a simple thing of recognizing who we are as a people and letting them know who we are as a people.
Little Klansman down here holding a torch. I got that when I was 12.
The transition for Shane Johnson hasn't been easy. He was born into the KKK, received his first Klan robe at 14, and later joined a skinhead group. But he decided to quit after getting arrested. He also stopped drinking. The first year was the hardest.
It wasn't like Harmony Forever After, Rainbows and Bunnies. It wasn't like that at all. It was actually worse. Constant battle in my head. Maybe they was right. Maybe now I'm wrong.
But with help from Life After Hate, Johnson is learning to carve a new path.
You gotta have somebody help you out, man. I mean, you can't just go at it on your own.
That's the guiding principle Picciolini and Martinez are using.
I can help them to feel truly heard when they talk about the temptation to go back.
I finally had something to love instead of something to hate.
A network of support, learning to put hate behind. Noreen Nasser, Associated Press.
There may be some relief for Cal State and community college students as campus leaders consider raising tuition rates. Sacramento lawmakers may intervene with a new bill. It calls for holding tuition and fees at the rate from December 2016. It would keep those rates flat until the end of the school year in 2020.
This moratorium will give students and their families peace of mind that the already high costs of higher education will be capped for the near future.
But the California State University Board may vote to increase tuition during their meeting in March. The legislation to freeze tuition hikes may not be approved before the end of the session. The San Diego Unified School Board is meeting tonight to hear the first reading of a plan to cut $124 million from next year's budget. KPBS education reporter Megan Burks is at the district headquarters for tonight's meeting and joins us now.
Now, the plan being presented here tonight calls for the elimination of as many as 800 positions and a reduced work year. You can see behind me a lot of people are protesting. Now, Superintendent Cindy Martin has said that these cuts will not impact class sizes or instruction time, and she herself is taking a $15,000 pay cut to help shore up the budget. Now, she's reiterated for weeks that most of these cuts will come from the central office, and that includes some department heads, but also workers who are deployed from the central office, everything from landscapers to specialists who work directly with the students. One of the programs taking the largest cuts is the elementary prep teacher program, which employs arts teachers, physical education teachers to work with students for an hour out of every day so that elementary school teachers can prep. We spoke with one of them earlier.
And changing lives. So it would be really disruptive to so many teachers' lives, the kids, the parents, and the community, and the teachers and the staff. So you have a big job, and I'm blessed I've been able to do it for 35 years.
What do you think will be the impact? Now, we're still learning much more about this plan. We know that the district is offering a retirement package that could send as many as 1,500 employees into early retirement. They're limiting some of the layoffs on the table here. We also know that the budget picture can change with the governor's May revision. It could get better or it could get worse. Today is really just a preliminary reading of the plan, but either way you look at it, some big cuts on the table. Reporting from district headquarters in Normal Heights, I'm Megan Burks.
We'll have more from tonight's meeting on KPBS Morning Edition and on our website. Bow Bow, the panda, is now on a 16-hour nonstop flight. The 3-year-old cub is leaving the National Zoo in D.C. and is heading to Chengdu, China, for a panda breeding program. Bow Bow left Washington this afternoon with her keeper and veterinarian. The cub is the only panda on board, and she'll have her favorite foods, which include bamboo and sweet potatoes. Fire crews rescued 5 people today who were stranded by flooding at a homeless encampment along a San Jose Creek. A series of robust storms is drenching an already soggy Northern California. The downpours have swelled waterways to flood levels. The Weather Service is reporting over an inch of rain in San Francisco and more than 5 inches in the mountains above Big Sur in the past 24 hours. Dry weather is expected to return Wednesday. And it looks like rain is heading to San Diego too. Shanae Shocker tells us just when.
Well, taking a look at our satellite and radar for our Tuesday, wet weather mostly held off towards our north. We saw maybe a little bit extra cloud cover, but overall it's been fairly nice here across San Diego County. Now, as we take a closer look in the area, you can see maybe a couple of those pop-up spotty showers out towards the deserts and the mountains, but other than that, things have been mighty clear here. And for tonight, we're going to stick with partly cloudy conditions, 57 for our low, so it is a very comfortable evening here in San Diego downtown. As we work our way out towards the mountains, however, temperatures, of course, going to drop, but we're still comfortable into Alpine at 45 degrees, Chula Vista at 55, and Oceanside 50. So we're in the 50s along the coast, and then the further you make your way in, you're going to cool off into Mount Laguna right around that freezing mark, but partly cloudy conditions going to keep us dry, so not looking at any snowfall here across San Diego County. Borrego Springs sitting at 51. Now into our Wednesday, cold front is going to begin to push into the region, but there's not a lot of moisture associated with this cold front here across much of Southern California. So windier conditions, and we'll be seeing milder weather move in across much of the 4 corner states going into the middle of this week. Now, as we move forward, taking a look at your forecast for the coast for our Thursday, we're going to cool off into around the 60-degree mark, so not too bad, but otherwise we're very steady in our temperatures as well as plenty of sunshine through the first half of our weekend. Beautiful weather here. Make some outdoor plans. Go on a hike. Should be a good time. By the time Sunday rolls around, that's when we'll see the return of the potential for some rainfall as well. More so coming in the form of spottier showers. And that's pretty much the story inland as well, though we are going to be on a warming trend heading towards our Friday and Saturday. Partly cloudy conditions as we go into our weekend, but Sunday we'll have some rain return, temperatures cooling back down into those low 60s. Grab your umbrella for your Sunday. Looks like really across the board here, into the mountains even. We're warming up into those upper 50s out towards our Saturday as well. By Sunday, cooling off into the mid-50s. We will be seeing the periods of afternoon rain here as well. And then last but not least, into the deserts, we are going to be cooling off into our Friday into those lower 70s, but we'll warm up ahead of that frontal system. 74 degrees into our Saturday, so very mild warm up. But then by Sunday, chances of heavier afternoon showers going to be possible as well, so definitely make your plans early on your Sunday morning if you're headed outdoors. For KPBS News, I'm Shanae Shocker.
Coming up tonight on PBS NewsHour, author Jerry Spinelli releases 2 books exploring racism, homelessness, and life from a young girl's perspective. Plus, immigrants share why they marched.
I think it's important to show support and to try to open their eyes that we're not here to be criminals.
But really, I think it boils down to one simple thing: write what you care about. When I write that to somebody, I underline the word care. You write what you care about, and you'll probably do your best work.
That's tonight on PBS NewsHour, starting at 7. right here on KPBS. The Circus Collective of San Diego had a preview performance of their new show Sunday in City Heights. It's called Specific Gravity, and KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando says the next stop for the show will be in Washington, D.C.
You may not immediately think that the ancient Greek mathematician Archimedes and his theories would make for a good circus show. But Daniel Berg did. As director of the Circus Collective of San Diego, she helped create a performance art piece that takes its name from Archimedes' principle.
Specific Gravity is a multidisciplinary performance art piece that fuses contemporary circus with spoken word poetry, physics principles, and live music. And the whole purpose of it is to explore the experiences of displaced persons through the metaphorical framework of Archimedes' principles of displacement, buoyancy, and specific gravity.
Well, circus can be about defying gravity, so maybe the fit is better than I thought.
What's beautiful about incorporating physics with circus is that we have visual kind of demonstrations of those principles of gravity, of buoyancy as we defy gravity. And those principles sort of create a way for us to look at the process of refugees as they are displaced and then have to overcome obstacles and create a new sense of home.
Crawford High senior May Thaw tells her story of finding a new home in the poem Remember Me.
When I say to remember me, I don't mean to remember my face, but I want you to remember me, as in who I am, where I came from, my blood, and my people.
My poem is about a refugee girl who had to run away from home, and she needs a place to stay. Well, my parents are originally from Burma, but they had to flee to Thailand because of the war, so that's where I was born. They're life stories that they've put into poetry form, and then we as movement artists are seeking to convey the emotions and those experiences through movement and reflect those and give it sort of a visual and very visceral kind of element.
Working with the Circus Collective was great because it gave me an opportunity to represent refugee and my culture, my people, so it's great.
And circus has always been great about pushing the envelope.
And it's just what that looks like now for us. It's in some ways it's stripping away the trappings of the big top and just bringing it down to just like the raw physicality and emotion that can be expressed with the human body.
Specific Gravity dovetails off of the Circus Collective's award-winning fringe show, Frontera.
Frontera explored breaking down barriers, and in this piece we're focusing on a very specific barrier, the barrier of xenophobia, and what it takes for people who have been displaced to, overcome all these obstacles and recreate their lives and find a new sense of home and place.
Specific Gravity was accepted into this year's Atlas Intersection Festival in Washington, D.C. that takes place this weekend.
We're very excited. This is our first national premiere, and it just seems so fitting at this point in time to bring this compelling message of hope to our nation's capital.
When people hear this poem, I want them to realize that refugee comes to America or come to a place not because they want to take over it, but because they just want freedom. They just want a place to stay.
Berg hopes that stories like Thaw's will connect with people on a very emotional level and will raise awareness about the refugee experience. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
We're here now with Robert Pinsky, the U.S. Poet Laureate from 1997 to 2000, who is credited with setting the blueprint for the position for all others to follow. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Pleasure talking to you.
And we're here for a little poem jazz.
Yes, I'm here with three terrific musicians from here in Point Loma. We're going to perform tonight, and I've been having a great time with them.
And awesome. Can you introduce the band behind you?
Yeah, sure. This is Evan Colleen on bass, Stephen Brown on drums, and Matthew Giles on piano.
And talk to me about how this collaboration just came about.
Well, I've done this quite a lot. I've done it with very famous musicians, including Vijay Iyer, Andrew Cyril, Bob Moses. I have a couple of CDs with the wonderful pianist Lawrence Hobgood. So I've even worked with high school musicians, and it brings back a joy I had as a kid, Ebony. When I was a teenager, I played music, and I thought that was a joy that was over for me, and now I do it. So I met these terrific young musicians yesterday, and we're going to perform tonight.
And I actually read that music was your first love.
That was my first ambition. In my high school graduating class, I was definitely not voted most literary poetic boy. I'm proud to say I was voted most musical boy.
And I can tell you still enjoy it.
Oh, it's a great, great pleasure.
And how does it bring your poetry to life to set it to music?
I've often said that writing is the wrong word for what I do. I compose poems with my voice. And for me, I'll quote a 19th century poem, 2 lines. On love, on grief, on every human thing, time sprinkles Lethe's water with his wing. Well, on love, on grief, on every human, 3 times at the beginning, I put my upper teeth in my lower lip. It's physical. Poetry is a bodily art.
And you have a chance to hear more tonight at 7 at the Point Loma Nazarene University for the Writer Symposium by the Sea. Have a great night.
A monosyllabic European named Adolf Sachs invents a horn. A horn. Walla whirlity-wah. A kind of twisted, brazen clarinet, but with its cylinder of vibrating air shaped not in a cylinder like a clarinet, but in a cone, boah, spouting infinitely outward and upward like a swollen golden bell flowering in Sax's Belgian imagination. In Sax's Belgian imagination and in the unfathomable matrix